Thanks again for joining us for an update from the city of New Hope. Let's find out what's new in the city and what's coming up. To do that, we talked with the mayor, John Elder. Welcome, John. How are you today?
I'm great, Dave. How are you?
I'm very good. Another
Good.
week here, a chance to find out what's new in New Hope. And let's start in community development. First item is to touch on single family conversion to rental. That's a number that some residents keep an eye on, and the city does as well. What's the latest number count?
You bet. As we look over what's happened in October, we had two single-family homes that were converted from owner-occupied to rental. And so far in 2025, there have been 25 properties converted from owner-occupied to rental, and nine properties have converted from rental to back to owner-occupied. And so that's a number we keep an eye on. We want to make sure that we're watching the amount of rentals as well as where they're at
Mhm.
and making sure that the rentals are run well, and that there aren't people that are causing quality of life issues. And so there is a process to make it a rental property,
Mhm.
and you get permitted by the city.
Okay.
And so it helps us keep our fingers on the pulse of what's going on in the city. It also helps people that do well, I'd just like to rent my place. And they have no idea what they're doing.
Right.
And
Mhm.
we did have a challenge with that. A very, very kind 80-year-old man decided he was going to rent his house and rented it, not going through the proper channels, and didn't know anything about rental, and
Mm.
so ended up renting it to some really bad actors, and really caused a challenge. So it's a way for us to help promote the rentals as well as to make sure people are doing it right.
One other housing item to start off with here, and that's the curbside appeal program. And it sounds like number 38 is coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely. There's a residence on the 3400 block of Hillsborough that's adding a second garage stall, and that certainly meets the specs for the curbside appeal program. So we're excited to see this happen.
Let's hop over to scatter site housing, a couple properties to update you on. And the first two on Nevada are ones that I understand recently, Mayor, you took a tour and you're smiling.
Yeah, boy, I'll tell you, this was EHR, or Exceptional Home Remodelers, and they did one other home in New Hope previously. And to walk through the two properties on Nevada, the homes are just gorgeous. And I think one's selling for 590. The other is listed, or will be listed this week, on MLS with professional photos for just under 580,000.
Mhm.
So it's uh, it's what we want the scattered site housing program to do. It's bringing in exceptional homes, step up housing for people, as well as people like to move into the area where they're already at. That's where their life is. That's where their doctor's at. That's where they grocery shop. So
Mhm.
people like to stay close to an area. And the homes that they're moving out of to move into these step up housing, those homes are great homes for first time home buyers,
Sure.
people who don't need all the room. And so it really is a success story of the scattered site housing program.
Next property, we've got a picture here to show you. This is 5421 Virginia, and it looks like a lot of the final touch work happening here as this house moves along.
Yep, the sod trees, landscaping, and underground irrigation has been installed. Um, this is, again, a beautiful home. Uh, Donna Homes is the builder, and they are set to sell it, and the closing is going to be happening. So we're excited to get this one back onto the market, or not back onto the tax rolls.
Mhm. One other property, 6048 Quebec. Action happening here, but a lot of it inside. You can't see it, but it is going on, Mayor.
Yeah, the this again was a home that was dilapidated, and the residents in that area tolerated a great deal. And so for us to be able to buy that home, tear it down, sell the lot, their home that's going in there, I've been through as well. Very, very nice. And that is going to be listed, or the home is listed now on the MLS for $575,000. So it's a great home. And the residents, the ones that I've talked to, are so excited about it. So that's great.
Let's hop ahead to the police department and our update, and let's talk about the incident reports. What was the report total for that last week of October into November?
Yep, as the weather gets cooler, we see this number drop, and this drop more than historically we've seen for this particular time frame year over year previously. And then we had 366 police-related incidents from October 30th to November 5th. So our officers are doing a remarkable job and handling their calls and still having plenty of time for community engagement.
All right, and let's take a moment to spotlight one of those calls that a few officers were involved in, and some quick thinking is the case here as well.
Yeah, just really a great deal where officers receive a call with very little information. They get to the call, they're able to assess and quickly identify what's happening, come up with a plan for that call, and then execute that call. And this is a spotlight one for me because I saw everybody saw what the outcome of it was, and it's huge. Officers Lesnikowski and Fitzsimmons recently responded to a report of two adults drinking inside of a vehicle that was occupied by two young children.
Mhm.
Officers located the vehicle, approached the suspects without them seeing the officers arriving, and literally caught them in the vehicle with it running, and they were drinking. They were able to determine that both of the adults were highly intoxicated, and the driver was arrested for DWI, and the children were safely returned to a responsible adult. And you look at what could have happened had the person who called 911, what could have happened if they didn't call 911,
Sure.
and the fact that these highly intoxicated people are driving around with young children in the car. Just a fantastic job. First of all, for the 911 caller, as well as officers Lesnikowski and Maurice. I think I
Let's
said Fitzsimmons earlier. It's Maurice.
let's hop over to Park and Rec and talk about some things happening here. It's transition time to the new season. In fact, a couple new seasons. We're already talking winter and spring, and registration is underway.
Yeah, this is a busy group, I'll tell you. Registration for winter and spring programming started on Monday, and the recreation brochure will be out to homes within the next week. But people can look at the classes that are available through the City of New Hope Parks and Rec website. So people are interested in getting into some of those classes, go ahead and get this done so that you can reserve your spot.
And if that isn't looking ahead far enough, let's look ahead to summer because they're already doing some planning for summer programming. And some of that programming involves sponsorships as well. So a lot of work has to happen ahead of time to get these things out in the summer.
Absolutely. This group is planning 9 months out in advance,
Mhm.
and they're already working on the summer 2026 programming and working on securing sponsorships for programs and events. Things like the movies in the park,
Yeah.
and those are sponsored by different groups. Really, really nice to have those things paid for by different groups. It helps takes a burden off the taxpayer. For the winter,
Yep.
you can't just think about what's happening
No,
nine
let's
months
jump
down.
back to today.
Yep, we're going to be opening warming houses as soon as it gets cold enough and the ice gets made, and they're doing interviews for warming house attendants. So keeping up with that and making sure that our warming houses are going to be open and available for people to use.
And again, as we mentioned in the past, Park and Rec keeps an eye on the trees pretty closely. And so some code enforcement happening there. And also some of the trees that might be diseased, the city is really taking a close look at those.
Yeah, I am not an arborist. I don't know. I mean, you look at a tree and you're like, that doesn't look good.
Mm-hmm.
But we have a person on staff who is specially trained for this, and he is going around and he is helping different residences with identifying what are diseased trees, and we're tagging those and working with homeowners on getting those out of there. And so I appreciate all the hard work on their part for that. Residents have been appreciative to that. Again, that somebody who has the expertise that's able to really dig into this is helpful.
Final note in Park and Rec, a few pictures here to show you a new addition to the golf course, which I don't think will be used this season, but will be ready for next season. What's new out there?
We've installed new grills out at the patio on the golf course. And when people rent out the patio, there's a beautiful set of grills there for people to use. And as I've said before, I had all three of my children's high school graduation parties there, and grilled up burgers and chicken breasts for people. It's a great amenity for the community to have and to have access to. You rent it. It's a very, very nice place. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, the golf course doesn't seem like it's going to be open for much longer.
Right.
Staff will evaluate after this weekend to see if it can reopen on Tuesday or not. Weather looks a little chilly, so it may not be working as well as we had hoped.
All right. Well, the weather takes precedence there. And as we're recording this on November 7th, again, we're watching that weather and it's turning right now. So it's not looking great. Let's go to finance for a second. A quick mention of the water meter process. Things moving along well here.
Yeah, we're inching closer and closer to that 50% mark. We have 3,000 meters to be replaced, and we've already installed 2,814 meters. Now, that's a huge task because we're doing this in-house. And by doing it in-house and not contracting it out, we are able to save the residents over $1 million. So our public works staff has stepped up and they're really doing double duty. And we do have a contracted company that's setting up appointments for this, but it's still over $1 million savings when you look at what it would cost to have another company come out and redo all those meters. So great work.
Yeah.
Our ask is that if you do get contacted to swap out your meter, please set up an appointment and get that done.
Final note, we go to human resources and we've got a few hirings and jobs related to the police department to update residents on what's happening there.
Yep, we just hired a community service officer. She started this week, Savannah Johnson. Welcome to New Hope. And we're excited to have her on board and to be out and to assist residents within the city and assist our officers out on the street. So happy to have her there. We also will have a posting starting next week for an overnight police clerk job. So if you're a night owl and looking for work, the application process will be open through November 24th. It closes at noon that day, and it's a good job, and it's a meaningful job. Our police clerks are remarkable folks.
Fantastic. All right. Go to the city's website for all that information about those jobs and much more to come. newhopemn.gov. Mayor, thanks so much for your time. Appreciate the update, and you have a great week.
Dave, you do the same, please.
For more city stories, check out ccxmedia.org or find us on social media.